Hey guys, welcome to the studio. Come on in as always. And I'm continuing more on the Ultimate Home Studio Recording Guide. And I want to spend a little bit more time on the engineer. Previously, I talked about the engineer really being the most important asset of the studio. And typically, that's going to be us, the owner of the studio. You really can't go out and buy a great engineer, or it's just something that you really need to develop. And I think you're going to find that really is it's the owner operator. It's the you can have all the best tools, but if you don't know how to use them and operate them, then you're really up a creek without a paddle, so to speak. But one aspect of the engineer that I think is really important, and this is something that you gain with experience, and I've learned this over many, many sessions, that if you can be a mind reader and really understand what the musician, what your client, what your customer really wants without them having to really tell you, you're going to find that you're going to be much more valuable in their mind. You're going to be a much more important factor. You're going to be able to make decisions and help them along the path. Now, as an engineer, you really have a lot of power in the sessions that really is kind of unspoken. You can determine how quickly or efficiently the sessions go. But let me give you a specific example. Suppose you have a vocalist and you're trying to do some takes, and you feel you're really getting some good takes, but you really want to be able to mind read what the vocalist is thinking themselves, and without having to really ask them, because you can make things really go a lot more efficiently, a lot smoother, and you don't want to wear out the vocalist by just doing take and take and take. But learn to understand, learn to read them, that when the musician starts to feel, or the vocalist starts to feel, if that's really the best that I can do, or I'm starting to get tired, you want to catch on that before you get to that point. Because if you get to the point and the musician, or the vocalist, the singer, feels that they may not have really given you the best take that they can, but that's the best they can do, that puts a little bit of frustration in their mind. So if you can catch them just before that moment, and rather than burn them out and doing takes, you make the decision as an engineer, well, maybe I've got 3 or 4 takes already on a certain phrase. It's best for me to go ahead and comp those out and cut and paste the best parts of that, or even if you have to go in and use some autocorrect or Melodyne or whatever it is, you make the decision as the engineer whether it's best just to go ahead and chalk that up doing that for the mixing. But also, I'm of the belief, if you can't get it right, you really need to get what's going into the microphone correct right off at the beginning, and don't try to fix everything at the mix. So sometimes it is best just to go ahead and, rather than try to doctor up a take, to go ahead and just redo that. But like I say, get into the mind of the singer and know how they're feeling. If they're more than eager to want to do another take, then by all means go ahead and let them do that. The same applies with the whole band in general. You want them to feel comfortable with what they're doing, but then as the engineer, you can go ahead and really lay out the schedule, and I'll talk more about scheduling on running your sessions, but you can decide whether you're really spinning your wheels, or whether this is really worth spending extra time on this. So you really are the producer in most of these home project studio situations, and so you're the one that's really moving things along at the pace that you think is best. If you feel that the band is really giving you some hot takes, then that's the thing to do, is to make sure that you catch those. Even on warm-ups, put that recorder or your workstation into record as they're warming up, and as you're getting levels, go ahead and record all that. It's just as easy to erase them or save them, because some of that magic occurs right then. It's amazing how people warming up and they are starting to do their bombastic gymnastic vocal runs, and some of that stuff turns out to be really good. Some of it's garbage, but some of that can just be magic, or you might want to use that in a later area and just put in that one little phrase. But become a mind reader. Know what your customers and clients really like. And like I say, this doesn't happen overnight. I've had many sessions to where sometimes I just kind of feel I'm not relating with the customer. But fortunately, those are pretty far and few between. The ones to where you are able to complete the sentence before they ask it, or you suggest an idea before they even think of it, and then they go, oh yeah, those are the ones to where they go, that engineer, he knows his stuff. We want to come back to this studio. He's on the same wavelength as we are. And so that's really important. So don't discount that. And like I say, this is extremely important stuff for running a good session. I'm putting this near the top of my list. The engineer is number one. You're the operator. You can't have a monkey turn all these dials and get the same results. You know, we've talked about it's good to have good equipment, but that's not the secret. You're the secret. You're the engineer. That's it, guys. Hopefully I'm making myself clear without rambling too much. We'll talk to you in the next video. Later.